The one you chose. 3 people are having trouble sleeping right now because of you. They don't know anything about each other. They don't know that their distinct hobbies are about to come together in the most amazing way to prove your worth to everyone. The first individual has been secretly looking into your life for weeks, sure that they will prove you are a fraud. The second person is overwhelmed by sentiments they can't put into words, thinking you're just too good for them. The third observes you with fear and amazement because the fact that you exist threatens to break their jaded vision of the world. What none of them realize is that their separate paths to finding out the truth about you are coming together in a way that will make one of them feel so embarrassed that they will doubt everything they thought they understood about people. The probe that was meant to ruin your reputation is about to become the strongest proof of your honesty anyone could think of. The stakes are larger than you think. This confluence will have an effect on more than just these 3 lives. It's going to start a revolution in how people see you. The investigator is looking at evidence that makes them feel sick with the worst type of shame right now. They believed they were so smart, so thorough, and so sure they would catch you in a lie. Instead, they have shown without a doubt that you are precisely who you say you are, always said you were. The shame they feel isn't just about work, it's about life itself. They're about to do something that will shock everyone who knows them, even you. Let me show you what someone who has been trying to ruin your reputation, while believing themselves they're the hero of this story, is thinking. They've been working on what they thought was a watertight case against you for weeks. Not happy with just watching, they've made complicated tests that are meant to make you show your true self. They've also made situations where you have to pick between what you say you believe and what is best for you right now. They've had friends in common ask them tough questions about your past. They've even looked into your past through more than one source. There is one thing that has guided all of their investigation methods. You can't possibly be as real as you seem. Your constancy seems too good to be true. Your integrity seems too strong. Your loyalty is too strong. The strange rationale behind their obsession. If they can show that you're not real, then their own lies and masks are merely regular behavior. If they can catch you lying, then it's okay for them to lie too. Everyone plays games if they can show you're playing games. What they're finding out instead is going to undermine everything they thought they knew about how people work. They've put you through each test. You passed without even knowing you were being tested. You've strolled through every trap they've created with such natural ease that it's impossible to see your actions as anything other than real. Every time someone has tried to catch you in a lie, it has just shown more of your true self. The investigator's worst dread is coming true. You actually are who you say you are. Their shame is growing to a point where they will have to face something much scarier than your honesty, their own ability to lie to themselves. The second person's journey, on the other hand, is going in a completely different path toward a revelation that will either kill them or set them free. While the investigator has been trying to bring you down, someone else has been raising you up in their mind to heights that are hard to reach. They've had feelings for you that get stronger every time they see you, but at the same time, they are fooling themselves that saying those things would be the height of arrogance. They have made up a whole mythology about how great you are because they see how gracefully and powerfully you handle problems. They think that there are more gorgeous, successful, and deserving individuals around you than they could ever be. They think that your inherent charm means that you have a lot of possibilities. The horrible irony is that every time they've talked to you, you've been able to let them know that you see, value, and respect them just as they are. You have never made them feel like they were less than or unworthy. No one has ever exploited your confidence against you, so why have they been making themselves suffer by thinking they're not good enough for you? Because they've been telling themselves a story about how valuable they are that has nothing to do with how you treat people. They've been putting their own doubts on you, thinking you must be judging them, how they see themselves. They are about to have a breakthrough because they see how you deal with the investigator's actions. They're beginning to realize that their fear of being vulnerable with you has nothing to do with you. It's about how they feel about their own worth. This revelation is leading up to a moment of bravery that will surprise everyone, even them. The third person's journey toward truth is probably the most deep of all, because it means breaking down the ideas they've used to their whole lives to keep from becoming disappointed. The third person has been watching your story evolve with the kind of interest that comes from seeing something that shouldn't be conceivable. They have based their whole lives on the idea that everyone is greedy, that real goodness is a foolish illusion, and that anyone who seems to care must have other objectives. They can't fit you into their plans at all. They have been working from a point of view that keeps them from being let down by expecting the worst from everyone. If you can't trust somebody, you can't betray them. If everyone is playing angles, then their own strategic thinking is just being realistic. If there isn't a real connection, then their loneliness is merely smart self-defense. It's like witnessing someone float to prove that gravity doesn't exist. It makes them question not only what they think about you, but also what they know about what people can do. The problem that is growing in their head. If you're authentic and someone can really live with the level of honesty and consistency you show, then what reason do they have to make their own compromises? What reason do people have to settle for shallow connections when it seems like they could have deeper ones? Your example has made people face the fact that they may have been living smaller than they need to, accepting less than they deserve, and settling for being cynical, being alone when there was a real community all along. They are getting close to a tipping point where they will either become even more cynical or let your example show them that there is a better way to live. All three storylines are about to come together in ways that will show them all how real life is in the most compelling way they have ever seen. What none of these three people know is that their separate fixations on you have set off a chain reaction that goes much beyond their own problems. The investigator's methodical examination of your character has forced them to get other people involved in their efforts to acquire evidence against you. They've accidentally set up a network of people who are watching you more closely. Everyone they've talked to about their suspicions has gotten inquisitive about what may make them look so closely. Mutual friends who care about you have seen how hard the admirer is trying to connect with you, them. They've been trying to figure out what might make someone so sure of themselves in other parts of their life suddenly lose their words around you. They are also paying closer attention to how you interact with others, since they are curious. People have started to observe the dynamic in social settings, when the cynic's obvious discomfort with your genuineness is showing. They wonder what kind of individual could have that effect on someone just by being there. All this observation, attention, and scrutiny from many angles has led to something that has never happened before, a developing agreement about who you actually are, based not on rumors or managing your reputation, but on seeing how you perform when you're under pressure. The investigator's breakdown is going to speed up this process in ways that no one sees coming. Now, the weird things that have been happening to you lately are about to make perfect sense. That nagging feeling that someone is always monitoring you very closely. That strange feeling when you're in a group and some folks look uncomfortable with you. the strange queries that seem to be meant to watch how you react. It all has to do with these three stories that are happening at the same time. The one you picked. What you're about to learn about these three people will show you how unhealed wounds cause the same crises they want to avoid. The way the investigator acts has nothing to do with you. It's a reaction to being reared by individuals who wore masks. So convincing that this person stopped trusting their own ability to read other people. They became hypervigilant as a strategy to defend themselves, always on the lookout for the lies they had been taught to expect. Your honesty touches their deepest wound. What if they were mistaken about everyone? What if there are real individuals out there and they've been ruining relationships by being suspicious? The admirer is paralyzed because of a different injury. They were told that they had to be perfect to win love, that they had to be deserving of love before they were worthy. Your innate confidence brings forth their deepest humiliation. You must be able to notice how bad they are if you're as great as you seem. They've been taking your generosity as sympathy and your real interest as civility. The cynic's vision of the world was shaped by deep disappointment that made them decide to never hope again. Someone they trusted entirely broke their faith in the goodness of people. They made an identity by always expecting the worst. Your persistence makes them feel the most fear. What if they've been keeping themselves away from people who could have helped them? All three of them are soon to discover that how they act toward you has nothing to do with who you are and everything to do with their own pain. The investigator will think that their suspicion is projection. The admirer will see their lack of worth as a requirement. The cynic will see their loneliness as a response to trauma. This recognition is going to break them open in ways that will not let them change. Not only possible, but certain. This is going to blow your head about what you have to do in all of this. You have no idea that you have been causing a healing crisis in these three persons. They've been so focused on how they feel about you that you haven't had to do anything but be yourself. One of the clearest markers of your chosen position is this unconscious power, the ability to cause deep change in people just by being yourself. People can see the difference between who they are and who they pretend to be when they see you. Your presence has made the investigator face their own dishonest habits. Every second they spend attempting to catch you being phony shows how much time and attention they put into manipulation and planning. You are showing them what real honesty looks like by holding up a mirror, and the difference is shocking. Your inherent confidence has been showing what it means to have self-worth without needing others to tell you that you do. Every time you treat them with respect, no matter who they are or what they've done, you show them a way of being that they never thought was possible. You're showing kids that they don't have to work for affection. Your constant compassion has been breaking down the cynic's protected pessimism at every turn. Every time you choose connection above self-protection, you show them a different way to be defensive. Being alone. You're showing that being open doesn't always mean being betrayed. The lovely irony is that while they've been researching, analyzing, and testing you, you've been healing their deepest wounds without even realizing it by not matching their energy. While they've been fake, you've been real. While they've been skeptical, you've been trusting. And while they've been protective, you've been open. Your unconscious strength is going to become conscious when you understand how big the change you've been making happen. The moment everything changes, comes out of nowhere, disguised as just another normal interaction in your life. The investigator has set up what they think would be the ultimate test of your character. They've set up a position where you have to choose between your declared principles and a big personal gain. They've put themselves in a place where they can see your choice, certain they will ultimately catch you breaking your rules. What occurs next will stay with them for the rest of their lives, even if they think no one significant is watching. You don't just pass their test, you pass it so fully, naturally, and easily that they can't keep up their lies for even one more second. Someone wanting to keep up an image didn't make your choice. It's what someone does automatically when honesty isn't a plan for them, but who they are. At that moment, seeing you figure out their meticulously planned moral maze with the same natural grace you bring to everything else. The investigator goes through what can only be called a full mental breakdown. Every idea they have about how people are breaks down. All of the reasons they've given for lying go away. Every cynical thought they have about why people do things is really a projection of their own problems onto other people. They know with terrible clarity that they haven't been looking into you because they really cared about the truth or keeping anyone safe. They've been attempting to prove you're fake because your realness has shown them how fake they are, and they couldn't tolerate what they saw. It's not simply that they were mistaken about you that makes them feel so bad. It's about their realizing that they've been the problem all along. The calmness they've worked hard to keep while doing their investigation breaks out into obvious pain. People who know about their suspicions start to wonder why they suddenly changed their behavior. The admirer who sees this big change starts to realize that their anxieties about talking to you aren't real, but are just things they've been telling themselves. If someone could be so mistaken about your character after looking into you exhaustively, maybe their ideas about not being worthy of your attention are also erroneous. The doubter, watching both the investigators break down and the admirers developing confidence, makes you have to choose. Accept that their guarded cynicism has kept them from making real connections like the ones they've seen in your relationships, or they can stay alone and miss the chance to change that is being presented. The network impact that has been growing has reached a tipping point. People who have been watching these changes start to share their own good things that have happened with you. The investigators' previous claims are being rephrased because they are clearly wrong. There is a growing agreement that can't be ignored or dismissed. You're in the middle of a revolution in recognition that proves everything you've ever thought about the importance of living authentically. In the next several days, there will be a short time frame that will feel both inevitable and magical. All three of them will make choices that will shape the rest of their time with you. The investigator is getting ready to tell you something that could be the most honest and open confession you've ever heard. They won't just say they're sorry for not believing you. They're going to tell the whole truth about what they've been looking into. They will admit that all the tests they put you through, all the talks they had about you, and all the time they spent looking for weaknesses in your character were not out of real concern, but because they couldn't stop themselves from doing it. Believe that real goodness is out there. They're going to ask for something that will surprise you: your help. They want to learn how to see people clearly, how to tell when someone is being real, and how to stop poisoning prospective connections with distrust and paranoia. The admirer is going to be brave enough to be open with you in ways they never believed they could. They're going to talk about their worries as well as their feelings. They are going to tell you about all the times they wanted to connect more deeply, but held back since they didn't think they were good enough. They'll want to know if there's room in your life for someone who is still learning how to be as real as you are. The cynic is going to ask for something that could be the most startling thing of all. They'll ask you to be their mentor. They want to know how you got to be the person you are now and how you got the kind of clarity and honesty that they've been both admiring and afraid of. They want to know if it's conceivable for someone like them to develop even a little part of the real presence you have so easily, How you respond to this confluence will not only affect the future of these connections, but also the path you take to a bigger role that you are just beginning to grasp. You will have to make a choice that will affect more than just these three relationships as you stand in the middle of this extraordinary convergence. You could choose grace by accepting the investigator's apology and encouraging the accepting the cynic's request for help while being open to the admirer. This choice would show the kind of leadership that chosen people are supposed to show. The ability to turn conflict into connection, doubt into trust, and fear into growth. You could set limits, letting them know that their actions have consequences, while also letting them know that you understand what they are going through. This option would show everyone that being real doesn't mean being a doormat, and that being chosen doesn't mean accepting bad treatment. That real people still have rules about how they want to be treated. You may pick selective engagement, which means you would respond to each person differently depending on how they act and how honest they are. This choice would show that you have the knowledge to understand others where they are, while also respecting your own needs and ideals. You will be able to make a decision that is clear and not based on how you feel at the moment. Your ego should be in line with your principles, not with how other people feel. Your choice will set the stage for how the recognition revolution goes. The three people whose lives you've changed won't only think differently about you. Based on what you've showed them is feasible, they're going to change the way they live their lives completely. Now I want to take a moment to tell you about certain people who shouldn't be here. A trained occultist who got away from a group of witches who worships Satan. A former Black Ops drone pilot who could fly swarms with his mind. A psychic CFO who was a multimillionaire and could see changes in the market before they happened. What do these amazing people have in common? They all belong to the Obsidian Inner Order, where they exchange their secret knowledge on our private Discord server. The soul I chose has drunk deeply from the spring of wisdom over and over again. In this life, these amazing people became my friends in the Obsidian Inner Order. They saw the phone call. They moved onward. They made friends with people who understand their particular strengths and weaknesses. What is keeping you from doing the same? The coincidences that got them here were not random. You didn't find this message either. The Archons pay attention when souls like these come together. They are afraid of the strength we have together. They know what occurs when people who are genuinely awake meet. Come to our calls every week. Listen to their stories in person. Tell people about your own adventure who won't ignore or don't believe you. There is no other place on this plane where you can find the information we share in our private channels. Now, click the link in the description below. The amazing souls are waiting for you. The question isn't if you fit in with them. How much longer are you going to wait to take your place? Their path from being a suspicious investigator to being an advocate for real living will become a story that goes across your extended network. This will be a strong testament to both your character and the prospects of change in oneself. The admirer will find the strength to be open with you and everyone else in their life. Their new honesty will encourage others to be more honest, open, and willing to take risks in order to make true connections. They'll find out that their worries about not being good enough were just projections and had nothing to do with how you or anybody else really saw them. Their change from being a paralyzed admirer to a confident real person will become an inspiration for others who have been hiding behind their own stories of feeling unworthy. The cynic is going to start their own journey to being honest, and that path will show everyone around them that change is possible at any age. They'll begin to think about their own beliefs, choices, and how well they match up with who they are and how they live. They'll start to change things about themselves that will make them more like the real you. Their change from cynical observer to true seeker will show that even the most protected worldviews can change when they witness real examples of what is possible. As people learn more about what truly happened, word will spread about these three big changes. You will get praise from places you never thought you would. The investigator's total change of heart will be spoken about for a long time. People who heard about their doubts will be interested in what made them change their minds thus, in a big way. The account of their research and the shocking discoveries will make your character seem more real than any endorsement or testimonial ever could. Things are going to start happening that will seem nearly miraculous to you. Not because you're attempting to control things, but because being real draws in opportunities like light draws in everything else. When you look for light, the appropriate individuals will start to show up in your life at just the perfect times. Things that are wrong are going to start fixing themselves in ways that will surprise you. Things that formerly seemed impossible will become easier to deal with, since you are now fully in touch with your truth. You're about to learn something even more important. You're becoming ready for a bigger role in the world, one that goes beyond these individual relationships. You've passed every test, gotten over every uncertainty, and made every projection you deflected with grace has been getting you ready for this moment of recognition. You will see that your quest toward living authentically has not only helped you, it's been getting ready to be a role model for others. It shows them because the world needs confirmation that honesty is possible, that loyalty exists, and that real kindness isn't just a dream, but something that can happen. You're going to see that your simple promise to be yourself has made a wave of change that goes far beyond what you could have anticipated. The three people whose lives you've changed are going to be ambassadors for a revolution of honesty that will change many lives. Your recognized revolution is just getting started as your character's tale spreads, and more people learn what it means to live authentically. You'll automatically take on a leadership role, not because you want to, but because the world really needs it. Examples of what can happen when someone really wants to be themselves. The shame that sparked this story will turn into freedom for everyone who is involved. The investigator will go from being embarrassed for being wrong about you to being thankful for the education in how to spot real character. The admirer will go from being afraid of being rejected to being grateful for the safety you give them to be themselves. The cynic's protective seclusion will turn into exhilaration about the new opportunities that come up when you let your guard down. Your life will settle into a new rhythm where people will no longer doubt your genuineness, but will instead praise it. You will no longer have to spend so much time defending your character. Instead, you will be able to focus on the bigger cause you are being called to fulfill. People will treat you differently. They won't be suspicious or try to scare you. Instead, they will be interested and respectful. They'll want to know how you got such strong morals. They'll want to know what it means to live authentically in real life. You will understand that the praise you get isn't really about you at all. It's about who you are. You're becoming a living example of what can happen when someone lives in line with their beliefs, speaks their truth, and lives in harmony with what they know inside. The three people whose lives are about to change in such big ways will keep going on their respective paths toward being real, and they will each be models to others in their networks.